I never imagined that neighborhood politics could ever threaten my actual health, but that's exactly where I found myself last summer. About 6 months earlier, I'd moved into Sycamore Heights, a picture-perfect suburban development with manicured lawns, identical mailboxes, and, unfortunately, a homeowners association that ruled like a miniature dictatorship. I'm not exaggerating when I say the HOA president, Karen Whitfield, treated micromanagement like it was her life's calling. From day one, she made it her mission to find something wrong with everything I did. My garbage can sat by the curb for 10 minutes too long on pickup day. The trim on my house wasn't creamy eggshell like the community guideline required, it was Navajo white. My holiday lights? Apparently, an egregious violation of some obscure subsection of Section 14C. You get the idea. At first, I tried to be cooperative. I played nice thinking she'd eventually move on, but it quickly became clear that nothing would ever satisfy her. Karen was in her mid-50s, with that signature blonde highlighted bob that screamed HOA royalty. She drove a spotless white Lexus SUV with a personalized plate that read Hob, Boss, and could usually be spotted patrolling the neighborhood, with her trusty clipboard and measuring tape, looking for her next victim. She'd been president for 8 consecutive years, partly because no one else wanted the stress, and partly because anyone who opposed her mysteriously wound up drowning in violation letters. I'd managed to stay relatively under her radar for a while by giving in to her petty rules. But everything changed the day I installed a small package box next to my front door. I travel a lot for work, and after having multiple deliveries stolen, I decided to invest in a secure delivery box. It was neat, perfectly matched the house paint, and was barely noticeable unless you knew it was there. 3 days after installing it, I came home to find a bright orange notice taped to my front door, "Unapproved exterior modification. Remove immediately or face daily fines of $100. Annoyed but not surprised, I decided to follow the proper process. I submitted a retroactive approval request to the HOA's Architectural Committee, complete with photos, product specs, and even a color swatch. To my relief, the committee approved it within a week. I thought that was the end of it, but Karen wasn't about to let me win that easily. At the next HOA meeting, she overrode the committee's decision, claiming emergency powers as president. Yes, she actually used those words, emergency powers, over a package box. I tried reasoning with her after the meeting, explaining that I needed it for my medication deliveries since I have a chronic health condition that requires specialty prescriptions. Karen didn't even blink. "Rules are rules," she said with that infuriatingly smug smile. "If we let you keep your little box, soon everyone will want one, and our community's uniform aesthetic will be ruined. Besides, you can just pick up your medication like a normal person." I explained calmly that these weren't regular prescriptions, that they came from a specialty pharmacy that only delivered by courier. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "That sounds like a you problem, not an HOA problem." That was the moment I decided I wasn't backing down. My health was at stake, and the committee had already approved it. I refused to remove the box. True to her word, Karen started issuing daily fines. 2 weeks later, I received a certified letter stating that I owed $400 in penalties, and if I didn't pay within 48 hours and remove the box, further action would be taken. At that point, I contacted a lawyer who specialized in HOA disputes. After reviewing the documents, he confirmed what I already suspected. Karen was acting way beyond her authority. The Architectural Committee's approval should have been final, and her so-called emergency powers didn't exist anywhere in the HOA bylaws. He drafted a firm letter to the HOA board demanding an immediate reversal of her decision. For a brief moment, I thought that would settle it. But I was wrong. So wrong. The very next day, I had to leave for a 3-day business trip. Before heading out, I double-checked everything. The lawn freshly cut, trash cans tucked neatly out of sight, 0 visible violations for Karen to weaponize. My monthly medication delivery was scheduled to arrive while I was gone. But that's exactly why I'd installed the secure box. When I returned home late Friday night, I knew something was off before I even got out of the car. My package box was gone. Completely gone. Not broken or tampered with, just missing. In its place was a laminated notice taped to the wall reading, "The HOA has exercised its right to remedy the violation." I was furious, but too exhausted to do anything that night. I decided to deal with it in the morning and retrieve my package from the HOA office. The next morning, I went straight to the HOA office to retrieve my package, but it was locked tight, closed for the weekend. No medication, no staff, no answers. Convenient, right? I checked my delivery notifications and froze when I saw the status. Delivered 2 days ago. My heart started racing. I tore around my property, checking behind bushes, under the porch, even around the trash bins, anywhere the delivery driver might have hidden it after finding the box gone. Nothing. The realization hit me hard. There was only one person in this neighborhood petty enough to take it. I marched straight to Karen Whitfield's house, doing my best to keep my composure. When she opened the door in her crisp white tennis outfit, visor and all, she gave me that smug little smile I'd come to hate. "Karen," I began, keeping my tone polite, "I'm missing a delivery that was supposed to go into my package box. Do you happen to know where it is?" She tilted her head. "Oh, that?" she said, pretending to think. "It was sitting out for days. An eyesore, really. Probably attracting thieves. I disposed of it." For a moment, I thought I misheard her. "You disposed of it?" My voice trembled. "Karen, that was my prescription medication. You had no right to touch it. Do you have any idea how serious this is? Those are controlled substances that cost over $1,000. I can't." "Just replace them." Her fake smile faded into a look of icy authority. "You should have thought of that before violating our community standards," she said sharply. "Besides, I did you a favor. If you're getting mysterious unmarked packages, how am I supposed to know what's in them? For all I know, you're running some kind of operation." I stared at her, completely stunned. "It wasn't unmarked. It had pharmacy labels all over it. You had no right to take, let alone destroy, my medication." Karen folded her arms and gave a dismissive shrug. "Take it up with the board," she said coolly. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a tennis match to get to." When she started closing the door, I placed my hand on it, firmly, but not aggressively. "Karen, please," I said. "This is serious. I need that medication to function." "Where did you put it?" Her eyes widened theatrically, and she raised her voice just enough for her neighbors to hear. "Are you threatening me? Remove your hand from my door immediately or I'll call the police." I stepped back, exasperated. "I'm not threatening you, I just need my medication back. This isn't about HOA rules anymore. It's about my health." "I already told you," she said, her tone dripping with satisfaction. "I disposed of it. Maybe next time you'll think twice before breaking the rules." Then she slammed the door in my face. I stood there in disbelief. My life-saving medication was gone, and I'd have to wait at least 2 weeks for the next refill, if insurance even approved it. Panicking, I called my specialty pharmacy. When the pharmacist, Sarah, answered, I explained everything, every miserable detail. Her response was immediate and horrified. "Wait, someone deliberately took and destroyed your medication?" she asked. "That's not just wrong, that's illegal. Tampering with or disposing of prescription drugs is a federal offense, especially the type you're prescribed. I hadn't even thought about the legal side of things. I was just desperate to replace what I'd lost." "What should I do?" I asked. "My insurance won't approve another refill for 2 weeks, and I can't go that long without it." Sarah's voice turned firm. "First, you need to contact the police. This is theft and destruction of controlled substances. I'll handle things on our end. Delivery proof, labels, everything. And don't worry, we'll request an emergency override with your insurance. But please file that report today." So I did. That same afternoon, I went to the police station. The officer on duty seemed skeptical at first, until I laid out everything. The violation notices, my lawyer's letter, the delivery confirmation from the pharmacy. His attitude shifted fast. He took notes, photos, and assured me they'd open an investigation. The next day, Sunday morning, I was sitting by my window still trying to figure out what came next, when I heard sirens, then shouting. I looked. Outside, just in time to see Karen Whitfield, the Queen of Sycamore Heights, being led to a police car in handcuffs. Still wearing her pastel church dress and pearl earrings, neighbors had gathered along their driveways, whispering and filming. A few even smiled. It was the kind of poetic justice you rarely get to see play out in real life. Later, I learned that Sarah had gone above and beyond. She'd sent the police all the pharmacy records, confirmation that the package contained controlled substances, which elevated the situation from a petty neighborhood dispute to a serious federal offense. When questioned, Karen actually admitted to taking the package but claimed she'd thrown it in the dumpster because she thought it contained drugs. The problem? The dumpster had already been emptied. My medication was gone forever. Police charged her with theft, mail tampering, and interference with the distribution of controlled substances. Since my prescription required special handling and federal registration, what could have been a misdemeanor turned into a serious criminal case. And as it turned out, I wasn't her only victim. During the search, officers found several unopened packages in her garage, belonging to other neighbors. She'd been disposing of other people's mail for months. The district attorney decided to make an example of her. Karen eventually pleaded guilty to reduced charges but still faced a $5,000 fine, 2 years of probation, and was ordered to pay full restitution for all the destroyed items, including my medication. But the real blow came at the emergency HOA board meeting the following week. The same neighbors she'd bullied for years finally had their say. In a unanimous vote, Karen Whitfield was officially removed as HOA president. As the meeting ended, I watched her shuffle out of the community center, pale and stunned, clutching her handbag like it was the last thing she could control. As she passed me, she muttered under her breath, voice trembling, "I never thought they'd actually arrest me over a stupid package. It was just a box." I didn't say a word, because for her it might have been just a box. But for me, it had been my health, my safety, and my breaking point.